2025 Summer Quilt Along. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Kathy from the Delafield Quilt Company, and I'd like to share the projects I'm working on and how I made them via this channel. If you're not new here, I'm so glad that you came back. So you may have noticed that I am in a new space, which is part of the reason that I am really late on getting this quilt wrap-up video out there. In the spring, my husband and I started making plans to build a new house that was closer to our remaining parents. And all along it was supposed to be done near the end of September, but thankfully for us, it got done super early. So as soon as I got done with that Block 8 video, all of a sudden we had to move. So that was a lot of moving, a lot of packing in a very short time. And then added to the complication of moving, our old house actually sold immediately, which I did not expect. And I thought we kind of had this time to kind of do a slow move into the new place, slowly move out of the old place. But essentially it sold the day we had it available for showings, and it closed just a few weeks later. So that really kind of sped things up. So we moved super quick, and I still don't know where all my stuff is, which was one of the reasons this video is much later than I wanted it to be, because this quilt actually went missing. And then once we moved, I had a surprise sudden gallbladder removal surgery, which set me back even a few more weeks. Everything was fine. I feel great. You know, just moving, surgery, life caused this to be a lot later than I would have liked, but I'm back now. And if you're interested in the new sewing space that I'm setting up, I do plan on putting a video out there on that, but this is kind of a little sneak peek of what that's going to look like. I still have a long ways to go, but I'm looking forward to having it done and just getting back to some routine sewing. All right, let's talk about the 2025 Summer Quilt Along. For those of you who are new here, I typically do a summer sew along. This was the third year that I've done one, and I put all of the resources out on our website at delafieldquiltco.com. All the patterns are there that you can download. There's a coloring sheet. There's kind of an overview of the whole project, and I link all the videos too for the quilt project. And for this year, I wanted it to be scrap friendly, so I used some really fun Ruby Star fabric from the Golden Hour and the Heirloom collection, and they have those kind of nice earthy tones, and other like blues and purples and reds. I just thought it all went together so well. But this is a project that if you have a lot of scrap fabric, you might want to check this one out. All right, before I show you how to put this together, let's just take a quick recap of all the blocks. There's actually 8 different blocks for this quilt. Most of them get repeated throughout the project except for that center block. Some get repeated more than others. But 8 total different designs. You just do some repeats to get the whole quilt. And it is a pretty large quilt. It's 81 inches by 81 inches. Right, here is block 1. Block 1 was the center of the quilt, and the largest block, it measured, I believe it was 27 inches by 27 inches. And that center block really just pulls together the whole design of the quilt. And then we have block 2.
For block 2, we needed a total of 4 of these in the quilt. And we needed 4 of these block 3s. In block 4, we actually needed 8 of them. 4 of them were in the violet and peach combination, and 4 were in the navy and gray combination. For block 5, we needed a total of 4 of these. In block 6, we need 8 of these total. Now block 7, we actually need 32 blocks of. We're going to have 8 in the red, 8 in the peach, 8 in kind of that orangey golden color, and 8 in the navy and gray colors. We need so many of this one because this is really what serves as the chain that goes throughout the quilt that ties the entire quilt together. And then finally there's block 8, and we need 4 in navy and then 8 in the red.
And to sew this quilt together, it wasn't too challenging. All the blocks measure 9.5 inches unfinished, and except for the center block, which is that 27-inch one. So to put the quilt together, I essentially decided to make kind of a big 9-patch. Most of these blocks are 9-patch blocks, so I figured I'm just going to make a big 9-patch and then sew it together to create one finished quilt. You could do it where you just do all the blocks in one roll at a time. For me, I just felt it was a little bit easier to kind of chunk it in that 9-patch format. So for the most part, the blocks line up really nicely, the ones that are 9.5-inch squares, unfinished. You just make sure that you're lining up each side of the block as you sew them together, and they should come out pretty clean as long as your blocks are consistent size. The centerpiece is a little bit different because it doesn't have that, it's not really a 9-patch like the other ones, and so if you're naturally trying to line up seams, that one can be a little bit tricky. So I would recommend when you are ready to sew the pieces to the large centerpiece that you really look at lining up the edges on both sides, make sure that the block is centered, and then all of the other blocks that you're sewing to it, just make sure that those are lined up as well. Now I haven't quilted this yet. In the interest of time and knowing that I was already really late on getting this video out here, I decided just to make sure the quilt top was done, and then I'm going to quilt this at a later point. And I do plan on, for the backing, I'm not going to do just a plain yardage. I'm going to actually sew together these bandana blocks. They're panels. I can't remember if it's Golden Hour or Heirloom from where we start, but it's one of the collections that goes with the scraps that I use. Because I thought it'd be really neat to just kind of do checkerboard with these different bandanas for the back. That's the way the quilt's more of a reversible quilt. I'll get to that eventually, maybe by next summer. But in the meantime, let me just show you what I have done. I absolutely loved how this quilt came together. It's one of the favorite ones I think I've ever made. Just I think the pattern and the colors I think all go so well. I really can't wait to get it done, and hopefully I'll have the time soon to get it quilted, because I think this is going to be a long time favorite of mine. And for those of you who sewed along and sent pictures, thank you so much for sharing those. That was really fun to see the different fabrics and how it could be the same pattern but look like an entirely different quilt because there's different fabrics that were used. But I really enjoyed seeing everyone's combinations and how well your blocks and your quilts turned out. So thank you for sending those. And if you haven't sent them yet and want to share a picture, I would love to see them. You can either tag me on Instagram. I think it's Delafield Quilt Co. is the tag handle, or you can even email me at Kathy@delafieldquiltco.com. And if you are interested in making this quilt, that's wonderful. I will keep those patterns on the website for as long as I can. I still have the first one out there too, so if you want to check out the 2023 sew along and the 2024 sew alongs, those are also on the Delafield Quilt Co. website as well, and you can find them under Quilt Alongs. Right, that's it. That wraps up our 2025 Quilt Along. Thank you so much for those of you who followed along. I very much appreciate you watching this video and those who subscribed. That helps me keep this channel going, so thank you for doing that. And I hopefully will be back soon with some more quilting videos and also how this sewing room turns out. Have a great day. Thank you.